I'm not sure what happened with that intro, but hey, it's Wine Wednesday, so who knows? I'm
Cheers.
sipping on Chardonnay. Holly, what are you sipping on?
This is a combination of white Zinfandel and also some Diet 7 Up. So, my own homemade wine cooler.
There you go. In fact, I have a new drink to tell you guys about, but I'm not going to do it until next week. And let me just say, Holly and I have had quite a week, just to let you know. And Ray is not with us tonight because he had a hockey game. Cheryl had some family stuff going on. Dan has had family stuff going on constantly. So it's just me and Holly here. And we almost didn't go live because it's been that kind of week. But we wanted to be here for the community, be here for Wine Wednesday. So here we are. If you have questions, if you have something you want to discuss, please ask them in the comment section. If not, we'll just talk back and forth and it'll be a quick one for tonight. It's okay if it's not. If you have questions, we're here for them. But, we need to get some more guests in here and do some bigger things with Wine Wednesday. And this week just wasn't the week, guys. Please forgive me. But anyways, Holly had a question to start us off the bat, and I see we've got a couple people with us already. So maybe you guys will have the answer because I did not. So Holly, tell us about your circumstance
Yay.
and the question.
All right. So, I've had quite a day. I was working on cleaning the tiki tank, and I had salt creep to deal with around the edges and on top of my light. I had a algae, green hair algae buildup that I had to clean off the back wall of that tank. So anyway, as I'm doing all this, I had like equipment that I pulled and put up on top of the edge of the overflow boxes. I had like a power head that I keep inside the tank. It runs a little quick filter that I used to filter out the inside of my tank, but it's a pretty heavy duty size. And so I had it balanced on top of the overflow box as I'm cleaning. And it ended up when I pulled the light off to scrape off all the salt creep, ended up knocking the power head into the tank and freaked out. One of my little girls was over on that side of the tank throwing a fit at the time, so it practically landed on her. And I think she's okay. I don't think it did land on her. And she was just kind of freaked out. She's fine. But what it did do that I didn't realize at the time was it knocked off the control box to my protein skimmer. There's the two electrical outlets to it. So, anyway, that fell into my sump. And I didn't notice it at the time because I was busy cleaning the salt creep off the light and working on other stuff. And then I go to deal with, I have to clean out my skimmer cup and replace the sock. And so I'm ready to do that. And I look down the sump, and guess what? This is in it underwater, completely underwater, submerged. And the skimmer is not running, which means the power cut off when this got submerged. So,
Which is good.
uh,
Yeah.
this skimmer, yeah. So, I mean, it did what it was supposed to do. But so, anyway, unplugged the skimmer, pulled this off, and it's got, see, two outputs. There's one that goes to the skimmer, and there's one that goes on its own to electrical because it's programmable, right? So I can adjust everything on it. And it sticks onto the side of the tank normally, but because stuff was falling, It got knocked into the water, sat there for a while. So I disconnected it all, and it's been in my house drying, trying to get the water out of it, and got to use a blow dryer on it, try to get it completely dry. And
Question
I'm
was,
hoping it'll work again once it's completely dry. But if you see, there's screws on the back. And so, my question for any electronics experts out there who have experience with electronics and water, because I've dropped stuff in water before and it's been fine after it dries out. But I'm wondering, should I unscrew this and open it up so it dries better or faster this way, before I use it again? Or should I just leave it like this? What experience do people have? What input do they have to say about that?
first comment was, if electronics fall into salt water and submerge, they will likely, the salt water rusts all the components inside and it will never work again. You could get lucky, but I'm going to say not a high chance.
Mhm.
So I think that Holly's just trying. So, in your experience, then, would you say unscrew the back and let it
Be your
really dry
family
out? I've also heard like
or do it.
drop stuff in rice
Rice. I've done that
bags
with my
and
cell
yeah.
phones. I've had many a cell phone fall into a bucket of salt water and continue working after drying
Cell
out.
phones are different. Yeah, but our cell phones are different because they have supposedly the miraculous new waterproof crap on all of our cell phones, right? I mean seriously. Like I don't know the word, but I know my iPhone is supposed to be waterproof.
Salt
I don't test it,
water
but
is like Zen says, salt water is a bitch on electronics. And so, I mean, the thing is, I could probably call the skimmer company and get this again. Now, I'm wondering the pump that's inside the skimmer underwater. My guess is it's probably fine. What does everybody else think about that? It hooks to the controller, which has these parts. But my guess is the actual
good
water
question. So
pump's probably okay. But what do other people think about that?
so you're asking if the
Maybe I only
controller
need
goes
this. A new one of
malfunction,
these.
right, then does that corrupt the pump? And I have actually a question after we get done with Holly's because I had an experience too. Um, Zen said, as far as the controller, you can open it, you can get lucky, and it's all gold connectors or something, maybe, but I wouldn't get my hopes up. So Holly's gonna have to contact the company and get a new controller.
Mhm.
Don't let your controller fall in salt water. It sucks. But what about the pump that was in the water?
Ray says
So
that's
Holly,
probably okay. And that's kind of what I'm thinking because it's a different component. And it
using
lives
the controller,
underwater, so I'm thinking it's made to be under the water, whereas this wasn't.
thinking electrical currents, but so with the pump, with the skimmer pump, it's hooked up to the controller, so you can't plug it in and see if it works, right? You have to wait.
No, because it has these kind of connections, so it's not going to connect to any normal thing. It has to connect to a controller box like this. So my guess is, I mean, like I said, I could try to dry this out, see if it works. But if not, likely I need to get a new controller box, but the pump's probably still okay.
I'm thinking that's what people are saying for
Mhm.
sure. And Ray said internal components probably shorted out and wrecked.
In
Well, and
this,
that's
though,
just kind of,
right? Not the pump that's underwater in the skimmer, just this, right, Ray?
say yes, but I'm pretty sure that's what he's saying. And interestingly, I literally had a similar, not similar, but an experience with a pump going kaput this week. I was making salt water to do a water change. I heard the pump running. Everything was great. I went to bed because I literally let it run like while I'm sleeping and mix up and etc. And then I do the water change in the morning or whatever. Um, I woke up. I went
Thank
to
you,
check.
Ray. He answered my question.
Not only was the pump no longer running
Mhm.
at all, but water was yellow. It was like yellow. And I do have to give a disclaimer here. Um, in the area that I live in, we did have a water main break. It was a week ago, but we couldn't use our water for that week, right? We had to boil it if we wanted to use it for cooking. But I don't use that water anyways. So I was using water, distilled water bought from a
Mhm.
store that I put in a bucket, had the pump in, had it churning, added the salt, went to bed, woke up, and all of a sudden I have this awful yellow water and a pump that's not working. Now, I do also have two teenage daughters. So who knows, right? I mean, they could have they swear they didn't dump anything in it. I keep it covered, of course, but I mean, who knows what could have happened? From them, I hear nothing happened. I have a non-working pump and yellow water. So obviously I didn't use the water, I dumped it. And I'm not even using the bucket anymore because I'm not sure why that would happen.
Is
And
there any kind of oil inside those pumps or something like, or yeah, I'm
this is
wondering
the same pump.
what could be inside of a pump because I know well Scott takes apart like we have pumps like in our ponds that he takes apart to clean them, but I'm not aware of any kind of substance like oil or anything that's normally inside of the water pumps.
Quick tropical tanks. If my mic and my mouth aren't connecting, probably me, not you. Sorry.
Mhm.
It's that we're doing this last minute tonight and I'm not using the usual equipment. So if I look a little funny, well, I'm funny, right? Sorry. But there's nothing in the pump. This is the same pump that I use to churn water to make my salt water every
Mhm.
week
Mhm.
forever. Nothing's
Mhm.
changed. It's the only time it comes out of the bucket that I use to make water is when I clean it. I have
Yeah.
not cleaned it recently, so there's no chance of that. It was so weird. Like I think
Unless
I have a
there's like
picture.
corrosion or something inside of the pump that something broke inside and it released it. That's the
Well,
only thing I
is
could.
I've had a pump that I've just used for making salt water, right? It just sits at the bottom of a bucket. I only turn it on to mix salt water. And I've come to the bucket before and it's not working. And literally, I mean, I'm cheap. I buy cheap pumps. Maybe that's the problem, right?
Mhm.
But I can literally like dangle it and like bang it a minute and it'll work, right? I've had that happen before. In this case, when I walked up, I saw the yellow water. I was like, "Oh, no go. We're not using this water for sure, but can I make the pump work again?" And I kind of did my little dangle, banging on the bottom thing, didn't work. Pulled it apart, cleaned it, made sure there was no corrosion. That pump's just dead. Like, I'm kind of
Mhm.
curious what the lifespan of a pump is because it's not been long enough for it not to work. So I don't
Yeah.
understand if it's just that it could be very well that I'm buying cheap equipment, right? Like I'm trying to save a dollar. So I'm buying a knockoff brand and maybe the parts just aren't as good. I don't know. I'm asking you guys, Terry, You
Yeah.
can make
Yeah.
fun of me not speaking correctly, but tell me, is it a fact that buying the brand name products make a difference? Like, does it? If you buy the, best pumps, do they not fail on you within a year or two? Because that's kind of ridiculous to me.
Yeah.
And the yellow
And I
water is
think it probably varies and some, and stuff happens to them. But I know because Scott and I have had not saltwater tanks, especially for a long time, because the seahorses are really the only saltwater I do. But we've had freshwater ponds and things for a long, long time. And one thing, like Scott observes, because he's able to take everything apart, and clean it and make things work again. But the older stuff just seems to last longer and work better. And it's made to where it can be fixed, and
I get that,
but
and we've
at the
made that
same
point before.
time, I have, Dan, I think, was the one that told me to buy Jabeo pumps, which I'm pretty sure are made in China pumps. And that's the main pumps for my Seahorse tanks. And I've been running them for like 5 years and haven't had any problem at all with those.
And that's, I can't stand,
So,
I admit it, and I'll say it to Dan or Ray's faces. I can't stand when people say, "Oh, the older pumps work so much better." Da 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 da. We can't get them, so it doesn't matter. I mean,
true.
we can't get them anymore,
True.
so
Well,
it doesn't
unless
matter.
you find them like at a garage sale or a thrift store or something, you might get lucky. But the thing is, even if it's not running at the time, if you can take it apart, like we bought this beautiful, I was at a yard sale one day and I bought this beautiful copper fountain with 3 tiers on it for $3 because the pump wasn't working. They thought it was broken, and it's this beautiful fountain. So I bring it home, and Scott takes the thing apart, takes the pump apart and puts it back together, cleans it, and it's worked great for like 15 years since. It was just that it needed some attention. And so, like the older stuff, you can still find it out there, but you're going to find it at garage sales and thrift stores and, crazy stuff like that. But if you find this older equipment, a lot of times it can be fixed and might work better than the stuff that's made nowadays, to where stuff that's made nowadays is not made to be repaired.
They want you
And
to buy
that's the
new.
difference.
Okay,
So if
so
you're willing to put in the research and work on it, you could have a much better functioning pump probably for a lot less money if you're willing to put in the effort.
well, first of all, let me take care of that. Hang on, I got you. Okay, I think I did that, Zen. Let me know. It. But for the initial question, I'm not going to go through the rest. But the lady with the long hair that looks like a failed realtor, I'll let you know I was actually a very successful realtor. It wasn't enough money for me. I moved out of it.
Mhm.
But back to the point, we all get, spam and bots. Just shows that people are interested in our channel. Hey.
Mhm.
Um, so back to the point, I know the older stuff works better. I think Holly's point is great. If you find older stuff that you can repair, great. If you're a DIY guy like Ray and you want to build
Yeah.
things, that's great too. I'm not any of those things. I want to
Mhm.
buy something and have it work, and that's
Have it
it.
work.
I don't want it to need to be replaced in a year. I don't
Mhm.
want it to, cause me to have this bucket of yellow water. Again, I did give the disclaimer. I've got twin teenagers. Something may have happened that I don't know about, but I could, because I've never seen that before. I've seen a pump
Yeah.
stop working, and the water just sits, and
But
it's
yeah,
not
I've never
great. You can
seen
see
him leak something.
little floaties in it and stuff, maybe fuzz or whatnot, but you don't. I mean, I hope I did take pictures. I'll try to post them because the water was like gold. It was yellow
Mhm.
gold, and it looked like pee, to be real with you guys. And I was like, how? What? How? So obviously I dumped it, but I was just curious. And I would like to have a further discussion with all of you about equipment. I saw Terry said,
Kelly, you need to
um,
take down that comment displaying right now
trying to keep up. Let's see.
on the where you display comments.
I think you're seeing what I've already taken down. If it's still there,
It's
I don't.
displaying here.
It's no longer displaying for me. Can't help it. Don't know what to do. Anyways,
Pick a different one. Put it up.
I see. Okay.
There we go. Yeah.
Okay. So, anyways, I think I was trying to delete it and I posted it. Great.
Yeah. Well, oh,
Oh,
yeah.
this
Make me
video
laugh.
will be demonetized. That's okay. No big deal. But I think that Terry said at one point, you know, let me find it if I can. Yeah,
Oh,
there we
he
go.
says he's had all
It's a
price ranges of equipment fail.
hang
Yeah,
on. Back
I hear that.
because I've missed a bunch of comments. Terry said it's a crapshoot with equipment anymore.
Yeah.
Exactly. Right. I
Mhm.
don't get that. I do from a marketing and business perspective. They're
Mhm.
making shit that doesn't last, so we have to buy more or replace. But damn, I mean, it's killing me. You have a broken Jabeo? Yeah. It's okay. Well, I hope I took care of it. I think I did. But
Yeah.
either way, we'll just call this night a wash and just have a fun conversation and, move on to next week is where I'm at. But yeah,
But yeah, so that's how my day went. So basically, and my husband says he's all like, when it's dried out, he says it should work again. So we're gonna see, and it might be like Ray says, it might be it's shorted out and completely fried. But anyway, I have the paperwork on the skimmer. So what I'll probably do is connect it back up, see if it works tomorrow. And if it doesn't, I'll call them and say, hey, can I get a new controller for the skimmer? But meanwhile, the seahorses are without a skimmer. So,
do like a super big, huge water change this week or
did I or will I? Is that what you're which one?
will you?
I don't plan on. I really hope not. I really hope not because I'll tell you what, I've been really busy lately. I've work stuff going on and
Yeah, let me stop you there.
their normal water change is big because of the size of the tank.
I just want to
So,
I want to back up and say that Holly already does a huge water change. Holly's been taking care of these seahorses for years. If you are new and you are new to seahorses and something goes wrong with your skimmer, the number one answer is to do a larger water change
mhm.
that week. Holly has a different
I'm
situation.
hoping not to. I mean, I'll do
Right,
what I have
right.
to do, but geez,
Absolutely.
I'm
Yeah, I
like,
know. Right.
I'm like, "Oh, I hope not." But their water, it looks really clean right now. I'm surprised that because of all the times for this to happen was like I was doing like a major algae cleaning today, and that's what kind of caused the accident because equipment got knocked off. I was pulling everything and there was green hair algae. So I take care of that physically. I wipe it off, scrub it off, whatever. But I had to take things down and knocked that thing off in the process. And so then I'm like, oh, great. So now I'm going to have all this algae water floating around in here, and the skimmer's not working.
We
But I
wanted to
was
know,
surprised
does the
because
skimmer pump have a normal 120 plug? You.
well, it plugs in. It's kind of hard to explain. Okay, so the skimmer plugs in. It's got a wall plug.
He knows how it plugs in. Does the skimmer pump have a normal 120 plug though?
That part does, but remember it goes to this, not to the skimmer.
Not use another connection to plug it in.
No, it plugs in. It's got a wall plug and another plug. It's got two cords, right? But they all plug into this.
Two plugs?
Huh?
Okay, the skimmer has two plugs. One that goes to an outlet, one that goes to the controller.
They all go to this. Okay, so there's a wall plug that goes to this and a plug just from the skimmer that goes to this. So everything that goes through the skimmer plugs into this.
So
But
you
there's a
cannot
separate wall plug, but nothing, it won't run on its own without this.
so the skimmer cannot be plugged in without the controller because that's crazy. That can't be
No,
true.
because it goes into this.
Together then, I guess.
Huh?
So
Yeah,
that
the
was part.
plug goes to this. All the plugs go to this. There's two. Yeah, there's
He
two.
said the controller has the female portions of the wall plug. Yeah, Terry, you'd have to just jump in here. Listen, I'm not good with this stuff either. So,
So it's a
female, male.
Simplicity DC skimmer. Okay, so there's a plug to the wall that plugs into
He
here, and
understands
there's a
that part.
plug from the skimmer that plugs into here.
Understands that part.
Yeah.
But usually you can plug the skimmer into the wall, period. Usually the way. If you have a cord, it has the same outlet or the same plug-in and I don't know, female, male,
I'd have to get a different pump for the skimmer to do that because it only plugs into this. The part that goes to the wall is this.
totally get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I totally get what you're saying. I just think that I can't
I'd
believe
have
it.
to put a different pump in it.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Any other thoughts, Terry or Zen? Obviously, we're having a great night tonight. um,
Yeah,
and
the part that goes to the wall plugs into here, not to the
totally
skimmer.
get it. I get it. I get all of it. I understand what you're saying. I just don't know of a skimmer that can't be plugged in directly to a wall, right? I understand if it comes with a controller, the outlets work the way you're saying, but
Exactly. Terry says exactly it. It's a DC motor. It won't work without the controller. It plugs into the controller. It doesn't, the wall part plugs into here.
go.
So,
All right. So I wouldn't buy that kind of skimmer, period, because
like,
that's kind of crazy. I mean,
yeah,
kind
like
of
I
crazy to
said, I'd
me.
have to put a different motor in it. But
She do
I'm
now.
saying it's probably this. I probably only need this part. I bet you anything.
Right. Right. And back to my little circumstance. How do you guys clean a pump? That's what I want to know. because when a pump stops working, I know we just have crap materials now. They're not making things the way they need to because they want us to buy more. I get all of that, but I still feel like when a pump stops, steps to clean it so that you can see if it's still you can still use it for a while before buying a new one. Because I'm tired of replacing this stuff. It's getting ridiculous, man. I'm whining now. Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Terry said, yeah, I'm watching all the comments. But yeah, I don't know about the yellow water. I'm going to chalk that up to teenagers. But either way, I just don't understand why a pump that literally is not doing that much work, it's literally just mixing salt water. And
Mhm,
within a year, it just stops working. It just doesn't make sense to me. I understand buildup. I use vinegar and soak these pumps like
mhm,
often, right? Because I see the white stuff and
mhm.
whatever. And every time I've taken apart a pump, every single time, people take it apart, soak it, put it back together, it'll work great. It never does. I don't know if I'm doing something wrong or what, but when I put a pump back together, it never works again. So we
I have
need
to ask
more.
Scott some secrets, but from what I've observed, it involves sometimes some smacking and shaking and like. But I mean, we
That's what
have
I was.
pubs that we've had 30 something years. So I
That's That's what I was saying
have to
is
ask
that's what I've done in the past. If the pump's not working and I turn it on another side quickly to where it kind of
yeah,
bangs on the ground,
yeah,
then it
smack.
all of a sudden works. I mean,
Yeah.
but that's ridiculous. What is wrong with our products? I mean, seriously, what is wrong with our products that they're so poorly made that you got to bang them around to make them work, and that they die after a year. That's just Ray talks about. Oh, my pump lasted 30 years, and I'm like,
That's like
I'm on
ours,
a
like
year,
the
mine's
ones in
done.
the ponds, yeah, we've had ones for our ponds for like 30 years, some of them. I mean, we've had ones, I think some of our pumps from old aquariums have been since the 1980s and 70s, but yeah, sometimes they just need a little smacking around. But I think the newer pumps aren't the same. I think the electronics stuff quits on it. Like they short out or there's an electrical wiring connection that fails and they're not getting electricity maybe. The wires not good, stuff like that. The mechanical stuff, I think the old mechanical stuff is pretty solid. Like it'll last for days, just like old cars. I mean, they were built to last and built to be repaired and stuff. And now, like the newer cars, newer electronics, it's made to be thrown away. They're not made to last and get fixed.
I don't have an answer to that. Yeah. And any other comments, questions, any other thoughts, please put them forth, because obviously we haven't talked really about seahorses at all. We're talking saltwater, but
No.
if you have any seahorse questions, it's been a bad week for Holly and I. It's a bad wine Wednesday. Coffee counts, right? Um, but I was gonna say, the only other update I have is that my seahorses are still acting frisky as shit since I lost my bigger male. Um, and I did add, finally, I'm going to wait to talk about this in detail until next week when Ray's here, because he's the one that suggested it. But I added, and I'll show you, I'll post a picture before we go live next week. But I added um, it's just like a cheap powerhead type deal, but it uses a sponge filter as a pre-filter, right? So there's no way the seahorses can get hurt, and it just provides more flow at the bottom. I added that to the tank this week, and they seem to love it. It's amazing to me. We talk about how seahorses don't need low flow, right? And everybody's like, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. But literally, when I added this to the 40-gallon all-in-one that has two return, nozzles, it has a Robert King char chamber, and I feel like it's adequate flow. When I added this, they got friskier. They're swimming around more in the more flow, which to your own brain, like to my brain, anyways, it's like that doesn't make sense. Why would they be trying to mate, trying to swim around, enjoying their lives more when it's harder to swim, right? Because there's more flow.
Mhm.
I don't have an answer, but they love it. They absolutely love it.
I
I'll
think it
have to
just
post a
adds
video.
excitement to their lives. And that's, I kind of came to that conclusion when I added that snow globe thing
Yes.
to the
To,
display
yeah.
tank. Ever since then, it's like a point of interest to them. They pay attention to it. They like to sit near it, like especially in the sunrise or the sunset. It's like they enjoy the ambiance of it. And I just kind of came to the conclusion just watching them, and they don't think it's food. They I think they're watching it because it's something to look at, because they're enjoying it, the ambiance of it. And I think it just has to do with when you're living in a little box like they do, like anything that's different or exciting, they're going to appreciate. And I think that's kind of why they enjoy, like I've said, like when I change things up for them or I give them something new to check out. They do appreciate their favorite things. They have their territories, that they things they like to hang on to and hang out there. But when you give them something new to look at and interact with, it's kind of like if you have, other pets, and they talk about, like with your dogs, your cats, adding things that stimulate them mentally, that provide them with some
It,
entertainment or something. I think seahorses or any fish really, like they'll notice you in the room, they see stuff, they want to participate in stuff to an extent, they're not totally animals. I think we don't give them enough credit. They're not as
I
dumb as we think
agree.
they are. I
I
think they
agree with everything you said.
provide for them. When you're giving them something different, you're stimulating them, mentally or what, they're like, oh, here's something new. They get excited about it.
Only thing I agree with everything you said. The only thing I would back up on is I'm sure you guys all saw me make a face when she said when they're living in a little box, and I
Hmm.
thought as she was saying that seahorses in the wild aren't out exploring for new hitches. They're hiding from predators. Okay?
Pretty much. Hmm.
So it's not like we're making it worse for them being in a box. Captive bred seahorses were
Hmm.
made for aquariums. They're healthier, they're happier, they have more babies. And even if we don't give them that stimuli, they're still in a better place than they would be captive bred
Hmm.
seahorses than in the ocean. So I just wanted to make that point. But everything else, Holly, I completely agree with.
Hmm.
They aren't as stupid as we think. So providing them stimuli, giving them things to explore, it's like going to Disneyland for them, right? Like they're
Yeah.
off at an amusement park.
Like the shark or the saloon doors, or I was talking to somebody today about that, and the fact that they act like they think they're going somewhere when they go through the thing, they just enjoy it. I don't know what they're thinking about it, but they seem to think they're getting somewhere, where they're going to see something else. It's just a stimulus to them. But I think in the wild, like you said, they're concentrating on survival, but they're constantly hunting or evading being eaten. So they're occupied by those things, right? They're either looking for food or they're looking to not be eaten by somebody. And in our tanks, especially because they're captive bred,
Cushy life.
they don't have predators. It's like my husband Scott says, he says, well, they really shouldn't be afraid because you've never tried to eat them. There have no predators. There's nothing to really be afraid of.
It's almost a compliment to
Mhm.
captive breeding that
Mhm.
captive bred seahorses can get bored and need stimulus because
Yeah,
I mean obviously they have kind of
exactly.
a in a way, I mean please don't put this on PETA, right? But I mean they're in a way they have a better life. They're going to
Mhm.
live longer, likely they're going to have more babies that actually survive and etc. because we're doing all this care and they don't have predators. So
Yeah,
just kind of a hats
they have
off
it
to captive breeding.
easier. Yeah, they
Yeah.
definitely have it easier, I think, in our aquariums. But the thing is too, they don't know any different because they've never been anywhere else. In their lifetime, they're in the environment that we keep them in. So that's what they know. But
Like little
you
kids.
give them, something new to explore or do, or some different flow, or I think they can't help but enjoy it as long as you're not stressing them out some way. Like if the flow's blowing them away, they wouldn't like that. But if you add or direct something differently, I think they're gonna notice it, appreciate it, maybe explore it. They're curious by nature. I found they'll like if I put something new in the tank, they don't necessarily flock to it, but they notice there's something new and what's that over there, and it gives them, something to explore and think about for a while. And I
Yeah.
think that is something good for them, I think.
Agree. And my seahorses at least are loving it. And they're enjoying the new little range of flow. And man, I hope I have babies sometime soon. I really do, you guys, because but I'm still excited. Very soon, we're going to have Zen Ginger talk to us more about her new tank that she's setting up. Can't wait for that. And again, guys, we did say this was going to be a quicker Wine Wednesday. Um, Holly and I have had really bad weeks, but either way, we're still here. We still show up to answer questions, be part of the community, and make sure that you have this resource every week. So if there are any Seahorse questions, ask them now. But otherwise, I think we'll probably end here in a moment and come back next week. Horses going. Wait, what's the question, Ray? What's the real question?
Yeah, I was gonna say, what was that too? I think it's a little delayed.
Yeah. I'm not sure. Probably me as the oh no, am I more excited by them getting frisky in the tank and enjoying the flow? Yes, probably me. I'm probably more excited if that was the question. Um but yeah, I mean I've done with the 40-gallon all-in-one is prove that you can do it. You can absolutely do it, but it depends on your goals. If you're looking to breed, you need to look bigger, right? You need to be more specialized. I have rock in my tank. it's a whole different topic for another week. But I think I have made some points in doing the all-in-one, and that was the whole point to doing it. So I hope it does help people in the future um, make decisions for themselves, right? Because it totally depends on what you want, if that makes sense.
Oh,
Oh no, not me. He,
the
I hope
seahorse.
have babies. No, that's we're done. My daughters leave in 1 year, and I'm childless forever. There will never be another child besides a seahorse baby in this home ever again. All right? No, Ray, don't do that. Hi,
But
Bonnie.
hopefully she'll bring them to visit me
I
next
already
summer.
told the girls we already have a serious plan to come see you. I think
Yay!
July, right?
Awesome.
Yep. So we'll do a wine Wednesday at Holly's house in July. Won't that be fun?
Yay! Yay!
Hi, Lynn. I'm so. I love seeing new names, new faces. If you have any Seahorse questions, sometimes we have a kind of off week, like tonight, where we do a short one Wednesday, and we're like, both stressed, and so we're both just rambling. But we want to focus on whatever the community needs. So if you have a question or you have something good going on that you want to share, we're here every week. So, and we're still here right now. So definitely glad to have you.
Yep.
Glad to see you. And Bonnie, same to you, right? I know you've joined us many times in the past and you've asked many awesome questions. That's what we want. Tonight may have seemed a little bit about us like kind of bitching about our own situations, but
Yeah.
that's kind of what it was because that's where
That
we're
was a
at.
tough day.
But if you guys had asked a question, we would have instantly jumped into trying to answer it and helping you. I did see some questions in the
So I
Facebook
see
chat too.
Zan has picked a tank and a sump size.
Oh,
So
wait,
I'm
what?
wondering what she picked. Because her hubby's building a stand, but what's the tank and sump size you picked out?
Told us last week. I feel like she was feeling it out last week and she ended up
Hmm.
making a decision. Let us know, Zen. I feel like she ended up with 75
It was a
with a
75-gallon sump and a 125-gallon tank. If I remember right, I could
yeah.
be wrong, and she may have decided on something else, but I think that's what she was tossing around.
My God, that's like my dream seahorse tank.
Hmm.
I can't wait for you to set this up.
Hmm.
You are going to be the one running the show when I
Yeah.
retire. I mean, because that's going to be so cool. I can't wait. But all right. So for this week, I'm going to call it. But thank you, Lynn and Bonnie and everybody else for joining us. Um, any questions? There's never a question. Look, we just sat and talked about pumps all night, right? So any question you have, we want to talk about. So don't be afraid to ask a question. And even if you don't want to live, you can always message one of us and then we can bring it up live if you give us permission. So, um, but let me see. She said she's 95% sure she's going to do the 90 with 75-gallon
90
sump.
gallon with a 75-gallon sump. Oh, wow. Because of the
Still
footprint.
amazing. Yep.
Mhm.
No, I can't. I'm so excited. I can't even tell you how excited I am. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Ah,
Cool.
Um, but yeah, we'll discuss that all more next week, and we will talk Zen into coming into the stream so that she can share,
Mhm.
whether audio or visual. But we will update you on Zen's position too. But for tonight, I'm gonna call it. Um, Again, if you have any questions, Seahorse Whisperer group on Facebook, or message any of us individually or in the group chat, and we will absolutely make that question a priority. Um, I think that's all I got for tonight. Wow, I'm actually ending early. Oh my God, that never happens.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Let's say Happy Wine Wednesday. We'll be back next week. Thanks for everybody's help and everybody's attendance. All right. Happy Wine
Cheers.
Wednesday. Where's my seahorse? There it is.